Hello and welcome. I'm Tavleen Kaur, author of the book Your Soul's Next Level and founder of thewisdomfactor.org. In our video today, we are talking about how to set boundaries as an empath without experiencing all the guilt that comes with it. Now, if you identify yourself as an empath, you know there's tremendous amount of guilt that comes with setting boundaries. And these boundaries are really healthy for you. They are great for your emotional well-being and they're great for your growth. Yet, when you set them, you feel you've done something wrong and you should actually be going back to behaving the way you were behaving and letting more and more people in so that you can be nice to them. So let's understand first, where does this guilt come from? As empaths, we have a tendency to be big time people pleasers. We do want to make people happy. We do not want to disappoint them. And that's okay. Until and unless it starts to come at the cost of our own emotional well-being. So when we are saying yes to someone whom we do not want to hang out with, we're compromising a part of ourselves. And as empaths, we share very intimate relationship with our inner child. And this inner child has been wounded. It was controlled, it was manipulated, and it now stands there waiting and hoping that it won't be hurt again. But no, not really. Because we struggle to set boundaries, we hurt our inner child again and again. Here's our inner child which is praying to us and telling us that, listen, do not do that, because we've tried this many times and it has not worked. It has only left me feeling more hurt because of the situation that arises each time. But you are pushing it away and saying that we have to do that because that's how the world works and we got to show up and we got to be nice. No, we can't push people away. We just cannot set boundaries like that. It just doesn't work. So you kind of school the inner child, and in that process you reject it, you push her away, and she only experiences the hurt even more and becomes even more closed. So that is the problem, and that is why you experience a lot of guilt. Why? Not because you have disappointed someone else, but because you've rejected your own inner child. You've abandoned your own inner child yet again, which actually was her biggest fear. So that's where the guilt really stems from. Now, just to understand, when we talk about setting boundaries as an empath, you need to know there are 5 types of energy vampires, or people who suck energy from empaths, who generally do not have a great relationship with empaths, and there's always a power struggle, there's always a tussle going on between the two, just because the personalities do not align. So let's quickly go over the 5 types of energy vampires that you need to know about as an empath so that you can navigate this world better. Number 1 is the narcissist. Now, this is a person with a very high ego. They want a sense of control. They want to be on the driver's seat. They want to be in command. They want all the attention to themselves. They wouldn't settle for anything else. They're not okay with giving you the praise you deserve, the appreciation you deserve, and also they will not respect you for who you are, for your worth, and they will always reject you. So that's the narcissist, who have a bloated sense of identity and they have an inflated sense of ego. So a relationship with narcissist for an empath never really works out. The second type of energy vampire is the nitpicker or the fault finder. Now, this is a person who is constantly trying to tell the empath that whatever you are doing is not good enough, that you haven't got it, that you need to know better, that you need to do better. So they're always constantly finding faults in whatever the empath is doing, leading the empath to feel like they really are not good enough. The third type of energy vampire is the drama queen. Now, this is a person who loves drama. So they will trigger the empaths, they will say stuff which the empath does not like and do things which the empath does not like. So there's a drama, there's a sense of contrast that happens, which leaves the empath feeling energetically drained. And it leaves them becoming even more closed and even more sort of aloof and distant. The fourth type of energy vampire is the constant talker. Now, this is somebody who just wants to talk constantly and they just cannot be done with it. So they are so into the world, so into the materialistic side of things that they just can never be done talking. They will go on and on and on, making the empath feel completely drained and depleted, because the empaths love to live in the inner world more than they love to live in the outer world, which is why they're not okay with a lot of superficial talks, with a lot of talks about the material world and about the worldly pleasures and so on. So this makes the empath shut down. The fifth type of an energy vampire is passive aggressive. Now, this is an archetype. This is a person who is very angry at the empath for reasons that the empath doesn't understand, because their expectations have not been met, because the empath hasn't behaved the way they wanted them to behave, because of these unmet expectations, they're extremely angry at the empath, but they do not take the anger out unless they get the opportunity. So they behave absolutely in a very calm way and in a very nice way. They sort of display the good behavior, which is great for the eyes of the world. But when they get the opportunity, they take their anger out, which actually gives an empath the opportunity to know what's inside of them, which otherwise never comes out like that. It's only when this passive aggressive person gets really angry do they take it all out. So because of the excessive suppression, because of keeping it all within, they are passive aggressive. Now the empath is able to see through this. They're able to sort of feel the anger in the energy field, and they do not need those moments of burst to know that this is what they think about them. They already know it, but they're also confused because the person is not displaying the actual behavior. They're actually displaying the good behavior, which the world sort of mistakes as, which the world thinks that this is what it is on its face value. But the empath is able to see beyond that and is able to see the anger for what it is, although he continues to feel confused. So that's what it is. So those are the kinds of energy vampires. Now, when it comes to setting boundaries, it should be quick. It should be easy, because here are people who are draining you, who are taking your energy away, and you should be able to set boundaries fairly easily when that happens. But here's the point. Why it does not happen very easily is because the empath also needs this relationship. So they have also created this relationship. They have also played their role in this tango. They want this person to continue behaving the way they are behaving, because it's also very addictive for the empath. Now, this is something that nobody talks about. So there's a 50-50 partnership here. When the person is behaving in a certain way, this energy vampire, the empath is also addicted to that behavior. It is actually generating some sort of emotions in the empath, which the empath loves to be addicted to. So when the nitpicker or the fault finder is showing the empath that she's not good enough and she doesn't know how to do things correctly, it's also the empath who's feeling like, yeah, it's very true. It's who I am. It's exactly what I need to hear to get okay, to get better, So they are also finding ways to get more of that behavior. Similarly, when the narcissist is saying that you don't deserve respect, you don't deserve praise, you do not deserve appreciation, you're not worthy of it, the empath is also kind of acknowledging that and saying, yes, I am unworthy. Yes, I do not deserve it. So when it comes to setting boundaries, it's not just about the empath walking up to the narcissist or the nitpicker or the control freak and telling them that, listen, back off. It actually goes further. Because even if the empath goes and says, back off, there'll be another person that they will get in a relationship with who will sort of give them the same, will treat them in the same way. Because it is the empath as well who's addicted to this kind of behavior. So if it is not cigarette that is giving them that kind of pleasure, it'll be something else. It's about the empath also rising up and kind of overcoming these addictive behaviors, the devil inside of them, which constantly keeps seeking more and more of this disrespectful behavior. Well, so that is where the partnership will actually break off. So when we talk about setting boundaries, more than setting physical boundaries, it is about setting emotional boundaries. Because by now, what the empath has done is created an energetic twin of the person, and is constantly drawing that kind of it's sort of depending on the energetic twin of this person to have that relationship. They want this behavior to continue so they can continue feeling lack of worth, because that's what they believe in. They're also addicted to this, that a part of them actually hates that behavior, and there's a part of them which actually wants more of it. So they're also addicted to this kind of confusion that is happening. So in order to really break off from the energy vampires, the empaths need to rise up, and they need to tell themselves that they do not want this behavior anymore. They need to speak to that inner child and tell that inner child, I'm sorry for hurting you. I'm sorry for hurting you again and again. And I know why you're closed off and why you're distant and why you're avoidant, because you do not want me to hurt you again and again. But by going back into that relationship, by going back to the same person, by staying addicted to that behavioral pattern, I'm hurting you even more in the process. And I realize that. And I don't want to do that again. I apologize. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive yourself. Forgive your inner child. Seek forgiveness from your inner child for being addicted to the same behavioral patterns. What you're addicted to is not that particular person, but the treatment, the energy field of that person. You've almost created an energetic twin of that person, and you are drawing that substance from that person to stay addicted to this behavior. You're also loving this confusion that on one hand, you want to feel that you're not worthy. You want to feel that somebody needs to control and manipulate you because you can't do things on your own. You want to feel that you're very doubtful about yourself, and that's why you need somebody else's guidance. But at the same time, you're confused that why am I addicted to this? Why am I why is this happening with me? So there's also a victim in you which is constantly questioning, why me? Why am I stuck in this? Why am I still here? Why am I not out of it? Why am I not able to set the boundaries? Because what we don't realize is that setting boundaries is not just about going to that energy vampire and saying back off, but it's also about the inner rising. It's also about coming off that treadmill. It's also about you telling yourself that this is actually enough and you're ready to be on your own now. And you don't need those addictive behaviors and addictive patterns of other people to remind you that you're not worthy, because you are. So that is where setting boundaries really starts from. It manifests into physical boundaries, and it effortlessly lets you have your own space. It lets you effortlessly be in your own world. It effortlessly makes you make those people who are sucking your energy insignificant. When you start to build your own world, when you start to energetically decouple yourself, when you start to energetically cut those cords of attachment, not to specific people, but to their behavior patterns to which you have become addicted. So when you overcome your own addictions, you are well on your way to building an emotional resilience that you actually need to thrive in this world and navigate it effortlessly. So my dear empath, this is what you need to do when it comes to setting boundaries. Set energetic boundaries first. Boundaries are mental first, then they are physical. So I wish you luck with that. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my book, Your Soul's Next Level. The link is in the description box below. Consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel so that when I make my next content, it finds its way to you. I will see you in my next video. Here's me, Tavleen, signing off.